1.
I feel you, Kyle. I feel you. Another day, another mile and a half, another dominating Kyle Larson win. Welcome back to another episode of MDK Racing Victory Stop. My name is Jet. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. The final mile and a half race of the schedule just concluded. The final 550 horsepower package of the Gen 6 era. And by no means am I sad that this is the final race. I'm so glad that this is done and we can get to some 750 big motor, small blade racetracks. And I'm just gonna say this right now. I am very curious to see what the numbers look like for ratings tomorrow or Tuesday whenever they come out, because I don't know if y'all watched the Formula One race, but my goodness, that was a Grand Prix. What a Grand Prix that was between Hamilton and Max Verstappen. And the crowd was unbelievable. I know this is a NASCAR review, but I just have to say, like, the energy and the attendance, the atmosphere, everything about the United States Grand Prix in Austin was unbelievable. And I'll just say this. Well, I'm gonna hold my own thoughts, like everything, until we get some more evidence of F1 in America. But I'm just saying NASCAR better they better make some moves, because I think F1 may be pretty close to taking over NASCAR in America, which I never thought I would say even 2 or 3 years ago. But anyways, that's for a separate video. Let's get into it with what took place at Kansas. I should remind you though, not much happened. At least in terms of racing. There were a lot of playoff moments, especially in stage number 1. So we're going to start off with Kyle Larson. He led the first 10 laps. Then we had a caution come out for rain. After that caution, we got back to racing. Larson was still leading, but then there was a huge issue with the race in terms of the weather conditions. There was a huge gust of wind at the racetrack, especially in turn 2, where it would push the cars up the racetrack. And with these cars being so sensitive, especially with this aero package, even a little bit of air can just make the car completely change how it drives. And it caused a lot of playoff drivers to have issues with the wall, including Kyle Busch. On lap 24, he tagged the wall off of turn 2, and 1 lap later, he cut a tire to bring out the second caution. Matt Benedetto, the 21 car, would lead the field back to green for 4 laps until Larson got back out in front. Then we saw a nice little 3-car battle between the Hendrick drivers of Larson, Byron, and Chase Elliott. Byron once again had a really strong run here today. On lap 33, Chase Elliott would take the lead, but then soon right after, William Byron takes the lead for a few moments before Larson takes the lead right back. Kansas is not, by no means am I surprised by the type of racing. I think we saw for 550 standards some pretty good racing moments. Not the entire race wasn't exciting by any means, but there were some moments where we saw some good racing. And it usually happens right after restarts. I've noticed that with this package at Kansas or these types of racetracks, the best racing always happens right after a restart, or at least 5-6 laps after a restart. But yeah, it was a nice little battle between those 3 drivers. But once again, we go back to turn 2. We saw more drivers have issues. Brad Keselowski gets up into the wall, collecting Martrick Jr. in the process. Brad would have a tire go down and he'd have to pit. Then a few laps later, Truex's tire would go down and he would also have to pit. Then we fast forward to 9 laps to go in the stage, I should say. And Keselowski's teammate, Ryan Blaney, also, I believe, tagged the wall, running the top 5 in turn 2. Also has a right rear tire go down and has to pit. That was already 4. Half of the playoff drivers with damage, issues, or some kind of problem in this race. And we're only in stage number 1. And for some drivers, it would just get worse, especially with Kyle Busch. But that was it for stage 1. Kyle Larson led for the rest of the way after that restart, after that battle between Elliott and Byron. Byron would finish in 2nd, Elliott in 3rd, Kurt Busch 4th, Hamlin in 5th, Kevin Harvick 6th, Bowman 7th, Chastain 8th, Kyle Busch in 9th. Even with that contact with the wall, he was still able to finish in the top 10, and Tyler Reddick rounds out the 10th spot in stage 1. Stage 2, nothing happened except for 2 moments. Kyle Busch. Man, was he entertaining to hear on the radio. He was racing with Bubba Wallace, and I don't know what happened, but Kyle Busch was not happy at all.
23 in the mid and still 3 wide behind you guys. still full. Oh my God! Clear, clear, clear. By one.
Now again, I don't know if he was angry at Bubba or I don't know what he was mad about, because at least to me, Bubba looked like he raced him very clean, with no issues. I don't know why he was yelling, but he was yelling. And like I said, if you're a Kyle Busch fan, it just got worse and worse and worse, because after that, Kyle Busch gets loose really badly in turn 2, smacks the wall again, and then hits the wall again one turn later in turn 3, and then he had to come onto pit road to fix the damage. Meanwhile, and again, that was the only thing that really happened. Up front, it was Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. They battled early on, but at the last stint of pit stops, William Byron, out of nowhere, comes up towards the front, and he takes the lead and would lead all the way to the end of stage 2. So you had Byron winning, Elliott second, and Kyle Larson third. Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick rounds up the top 5. Then you had Reddick, Bowman, Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, and Ross Chastain. So it seemed as if this race was setting up to be another example of like the Coke 600, where it was Larson, Elliott, and Byron all over again, where those 3 drivers would just swap the lead back and forth, or it was probably going to be a Dover race where those 3 would lead the entire way, and then Bowman out of nowhere gets by and steals the win. One of those 2 things we thought would take place. Stage 3 begins again with Kansas. No surprise to see it perform really well on restarts with this package. Really great battle between Larson, Chase Elliott, and on the outside, he swoops to the outside lane as Tyler Reddick. He put on some muscle, try to flex some muscle on the Hendrick drivers. He put up a really good fight. It would be quickly cut off though. Another caution would come out for Anthony Alfredo. This is the second time in a row he's been involved in a crash late in the race, as he cut a tire in turn 4, slammed straight into the wall hard, but this time, fortunately, no fire. We got back to racing, and by this point in time, I think Tyler Reddick, he fell off. He fell back to the mid pack. He just got sandwiched with a bunch of cars, side by side, 3 wide, 4 wide around him. He just got sandwiched and fell to the back. Now, nothing really happened in terms of anything dramatic on the restarts. So we're gonna move forward to later in the race and talk about Brad Keselowski. Now, Keselowski, he was trying to get back in contention after he had that stage 1 incident in turn 2 when he got into the wall. He was running 16th, first car 1 lap down, and was banking on a caution to get back on the lead lap because he was running top 10 lap times. So if he could just get back on the lead lap, he could be in contention, maybe not for a win, but for a really solid finish and earn some points. But he couldn't stay out forever. He had to pit on lap 212. 6 laps later, the car that he's going to take over next year wrecks. Ryan Newman spins in turn 2 to bring out the caution, trapping Keselowski 2 laps down again. And usually you've heard the phrase cautions breed cautions. Got back on a restart with this package. Everyone's so close together. Things can go wrong like this. Turn 2, Austin Dillon gets loose and then just slaps Ryan Blaney's left rear and goes hard into the wall. And automatically you could tell the damage was too severe and they were done for the day, which sucks because Blaney, again, he had a really solid car. I felt like top 10, even top 5 potentially. So for him to have it end like that was very unfortunate. And yeah, then we got back on a restart for the final time, and it was going to be between, it looked like a 5-car battle maybe, between Chase Elliott, well, Kyle Larson was a leader, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, and Chase Elliott, a 4-car battle. And at first it seemed as though it was going to be fall 2020 all over again, because Harvick was closing in. He was running in second place, was closing in on Larson, but again, they're going full throttle. He can't do anything about it. Then Chase Elliott, he started to gain some speed, gain some momentum late into the race, got by Harvick, got by Kurt Busch to move into second place, and it was starting to run down Kyle Larson just a tad bit. It wasn't by a significant margin, but it was a couple tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths. It wasn't by a significant margin. But then, again, turn 2, got into the wall just a little bit. Then the next lap, or next few laps, got into the wall again, then got into the wall again. He hit the wall 2 or 3 times in the last 5-6 laps trying to catch up to Kyle Larson, and by that point in time the damage had been done. I don't know if Chase Elliott purposefully slowed down so that he wouldn't injure his car anymore to finish the race and get those points, to go to Martinsville with a comfortable margin over the cut line, but he had no shot at catching Kyle Larson after those hits with the wall. And Kyle Larson going on to win for the 9th time in 2021, his 15th Cup Series win of his career. And this is the second time he's won 3 in a row in a season. The last driver to do that was Dale Earnhardt. And I believe it was 87 or 89. It was in the late 80s, but that was the last time. That's how long it's been since a driver won 3 in a row, more than once in a season. And this is a new thing. He broke a record. This was the most laps led out of anyone in NASCAR history since the expansion to a 36 race schedule in 2001. Most laps led out of anyone in a season, and we still got 2 races left. And just a little more nugget. He has so far led 2,398 laps. That is the most in a season, regardless of how many races, since Jeff Gordon back all the way in 1995. 1995, that is, more than 30 years ago? Something like that? That is incredible how dominating Kyle Larson has been. And it's also very fitting that Kyle Larson wins. And the reason why is because, for those who don't know, today was the 17th anniversary of the 2004 Hendrick Motorsports plane crash that killed 10 people, including Rick Hendrick's son, Ricky Hendrick. And Ricky Hendrick's only NASCAR win came right here at Kansas back in 2001 in that very same paint scheme. And of course, when Ricky Hendrick was synonymous by running the 5 car in the Busch series when he was an owner for Brian Vickers. So for Kyle Larson to win at Kansas on this day in that paint scheme and that number, it's a very fitting tribute to Ricky Hendrick and all those lives lost on that day. And he also led on lap number 5, which when that happened, everyone at Hendrick Motorsports put their hats on backwards to remember those that were lost that day. But yeah, very fitting tribute, but a very dominating day for Kyle Larson once again. He is the only driver to win more than once on a mile-and-a-half racetrack. He's won 4 times on the mile-and-a-half tracks, which, man, I don't think I've seen a driver be that. I don't even think, not even Harvick, I think we can say not even Harvick was that dominating last year. Yes, he won 9 races, but even then, when you look at the numbers that Larson's putting up with laps led and how consistent he's been and how much he's winning in a row. Again, second time he's won 3 in a row. Winning 3 in a row once is already difficult enough, and he's done it twice. It's actually unbelievable. But let's take a look now at the round of 8 playoff grid heading into Martinsville. 1 race to go before we set our championship 4 at Phoenix. Kyle Larson, the only driver that is safe with 2 wins. Chase Elliott plus 34 jumps from 5th to 2nd with an outstanding day. Denny Hamlin plus 32. Kyle Busch struggling here today, but still in the playoffs. +1 ahead of Ryan Blaney, who unfortunately crashed late in the race. Martin Truex Jr. -3, Keselowski -6, and Joe Logano, he's going to need to have a really good run and some help, -26 below the cut line. Let's take a look at the results for this race. So Larson wins, Elliott in 2nd. Kevin Harvick, very solid run for him in 3rd. These past couple weeks, Harvick and the Ford team have seemed to turn it up a notch. Obviously too late now since he no longer has a shot at the championship, but still wants to keep that streak alive of having at least a win in a season. Kurt Busch, solid run in 4th, and Denny Hamlin rounds out the top 5. 6th, William Byron. Now, William Byron, he had some issues late in the race where he fell to the back, was able to rally up towards the front to a 6th place run, but he was the only driver I felt like that could have challenged Kyle Larson. The only one, which I must say, William Byron, he has been a really good potential playoff spoiler these past few weeks. And he is for sure, that team is going to for sure be a threat in 2022. I feel like Truex in 7th, Bell 8th, Joe Logano 9th, and Austin Dillon rounds out the top 10. Alex Bowman, very quiet day in 11th. Chris Buescher 12th, Chastain in 13th, Bubba Wallace in 14th. Bubba Wallace also showed some speed early on, but then got caught speeding and had to go to the rear of the field. But still, nice run, 14th place, and Daniel Suarez, 15th place. Good runs for the newbies of NASCAR, 14th and 15th. Michael McDowell was 16th. Keselowski in 17th place. Cole Custer 18th. Briscoe 19th. Parker Kligerman in 20th. I got to give a shout out to Parker Kligerman. He put on a really great run. He was even challenging up inside the top 15 at some points in the race. For a driver that hasn't competed in the Cup Series in 2 years to jump in the car, no experience, and for a team like Gaunt Brothers Racing that is not top tier equipment, to run in the top 20 virtually all race long, mighty impressive. That was a really great run for Parker Kligerman and that entire team. Ryan Preece 21st, Reddick. I don't know what happened with him, but he was there and then he disappeared. Back to 22nd place. DiBenedetto 23rd, Stenhouse 24th. And then some other notables, as you can see in the next page. Kyle Busch finishes 28th. And then also Ryan Blaney, 37th in the field. So overall, my thoughts on this race. Again, it's what do you expect with the 550 horsepower package? I mean, it's a hit or miss. Again, Kansas is a good track, so I think that's why this package was slightly better. We saw some good moments, but I will admit, late in the run, I was not there. I was dozing off. I was not focused on the race. Nothing was happening, which is normal. It's normal for a NASCAR race to not be. Sometimes a NASCAR race is not exciting, but it's really frustrating because, again, we could hear Chase Elliott or some of the in-car cameras late in the race, just full throttle. No throttle control, none of that. And again, I'm so glad this is the final race of the Gen 6 era of the 550 horsepower package. I know next year we're going to have the same package, but I just hope that this high downforce, low horsepower crap ends soon when the new engine comes in 2024, because this is not the way to go. But yeah, I don't know who is going to challenge Kyle Larson. We know Kyle Larson, he's the only driver that's safe at Phoenix, but maybe Hamlin, but I don't know anyone that can really challenge Larson for the championship. I mean, we haven't seen Chase Elliott put up a good fight, but Larson was able to just prevail, and man, he is just unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable. But yeah, overall, I will say this: the United States Grand Prix was much more fun to watch than this race. That's all I'm gonna say. And but that's gonna conclude this episode of MDK Racing Victory Sub. What are your thoughts on this race? Did you like it? Did you not? I'd give it maybe 6.5, 7 out of 10. Again, the moments with the playoff drivers that were just hitting the wall in turn 2 was pretty fun to watch, but in terms of the actual racing, nothing much. So I'm so excited for Martinsville. Martinsville is going to be a lot of fun to watch. So thank y'all so much for watching. Congratulations to Kyle Larson, your winner at Kansas.